Om Shanti, good morning.
Om Shanti. Good morning.
Good morning, Om Shanti.
I see our camera is acting up, so I'm going to switch to another device.
Okay, we can hear you well though. Om Shanti, good morning, everyone.
Om Shanti, good morning.
Good morning. People are still connecting and joining. Om Shanti. Hello, good morning, everyone. So great to see you here, and I'm sure others will come in bit by bit. And for those of you watching the YouTube channel later on and haven't tuned in, my name is Shailen, and I'm a student of the London Centre. And these sessions are chit chats for regular students of Baba's Murli, which is the main text of the Brahma Kumaris. And everyone's welcome to tune in and ask any questions or share any experiences or reflections during these sessions. And then people can share their thoughts and receive clarifications. So that's the purpose. In a little while, my mother, Ranjan Ben, will join us, and we'll also read one Murli. The topic that I chose today for the Murli was surrounding the siddhis, the spiritual capabilities. It came up in yesterday's Avyak point, and it came up again in today's Murli. So I wanted to just repeat a Murli that we have covered before, but it's worth revisiting. So that's a topic we'll talk about in a little while. But to start off with, any of you who are here live, is there anything you would like to share or ask? Hello, good morning, Lynette Ben, good to see you.
Shanti, good morning.
So anyone would like to start off and ask anything or share anything, feel welcome.
Shanti, I know we discussed this before at another chit chat, but I was listening to Mira Ben on karma, and she clarified it so well that I understood it fully. What she was saying is that what you did or what you have already done is destiny. What you're doing now, you have that chance to change destiny in the future. You're creating destiny for the future, which made so much sense to me because you have that opportunity to change the future. And destiny is not set. We create that destiny. And that was like, it resonated so well and it impacted so much that there is no question about what destiny and karma is. It's a nice class for lots of us to listen to. It just was so clear. Thank you.
So you would like my thoughts on the topic, is that right? Yeah. Yeah, it is an interesting topic, isn't it? The interaction between karma, free will, and destiny, right? And there are centuries of scholarship. So human beings have been thinking about this right across the world, like whatever the tradition, you will have some sort of thoughts on this. And then Baba comes and he surprises us because this knowledge of the drama is so unique. We didn't expect it to be like this. So the question is that, firstly, I think we've got to ask ourselves is, do we have free will? When we say that the karma is, we say the drama is predestined, then where does free will come into this? Then the second question is, well, what is karma? Because this word karma is bandied about a lot now, even in the West, but it tends to be connected with payback, that some karma will come back to someone, or it's linked with some sort of tends to be negative, negative connotation. Oh, his karma will get him. It'll be that type of approach to that karma. And then there's a question about, so you've got karma, you've got destiny, you've got free will. And the way Baba explains karma is very proactive, because in Bhakti, we can view karma in a passive way. So in India, they might use the word karma by saying, well, these are my karmas. So it's like something I can't really do anything about. These are my karmas that are coming. And they would connect karma almost as the same thing as Kismet, as destiny. But I think, I haven't heard the class you're referring to by Mira Ben, but I think from your summary that what she was explaining is that Baba views karma as the proactive bit, that's where you got your free will. What you haven't got free will over is changing destiny. So, for example, the destiny of this Iron Age is to end in destruction. And I've given 1 or 2 public talks where I just describe this drama as a tragedy, really. Like, if you think what we could have achieved as humanity, and then we end up just in culminating in destruction. So that is very, very sad that that's what happens. But it's part of the destiny of the drama. Also, that Baba tells us that not everyone comes to the golden age. Nice to feel sad about that. But it's part of the destiny of the drama. So there are certain things that we cannot change. And so we have to, I think, wrestle with all these concepts and try and see how we can use them in a beneficial way. Then what we've been hearing from Baba and the Murlis in these last few weeks is how he frames everything through the spectacles of time. And he explains to us that he plays a role as well, according to the time. And he shows us how his role in the golden and silver ages is more like being retired, because he's already blessed everyone, given everything. And then he gets busy from the copper age, and he says that he keeps the key to divine experiences. And he uses that actively in the copper and iron ages on the path of devotion. But his real role is now at the Confluence age, where he becomes the Lord of the 3 worlds, and he has this capability to travel between the worlds. So he comes into the corporeal and teaches and surrenders Brahma and creates the yajna. He operates from the subtle region and is subconsciously changing a lot of souls. And then even from the soul world, he can distribute vibrations. So we're learning that things are framed by time. And I think we've got to look at karma that way too. So what Baba says to us is, in the golden and silver ages, your karma is akarma, it's neutral. That means it's as if there is no karma. And so karma becomes like a passive entity in the golden and silver age, because there's nothing you can do to spoil heaven. Right? It's to spoil your own destiny ever. because the inheritance is for the full 21 births, and therefore it's God's inheritance, it's your reward of the confluence age. So karma in the golden and silver age cannot override God's inheritance. So karma is then neutral. Then from the copper age, Baba says that you come into the path of sin. Once you begin using the vices, then your conscience will bite you and you begin performing charity. So we come into that dynamic of sin and charity. So a lot of bhakti is about that, sin and charity. And then we begin thinking about the variations in karma, and a lot of religion is there to guide us as to what is good karma, what we should be doing, how we should be behaving, and so on. So laws are often embedded with religious principles, aren't they? This is why the history of laws are different in different countries, because of the religious and cultural histories. So that's often a particular understanding of what constitutes good karma and bad karma. Now, Baba says that has formed a break. So he says that what the role of the religious fathers, the role of bhakti generally, is to stop you falling as fast as you would have done had that not been there. So bhakti protects you in many ways. It gives you a conscience. Otherwise, it's a free-for-all. And we would be more like the animals then. But bhakti teaches us to have a conscience and to perform good as well. So Baba uses the acts of charity to sustain and preserve and to support many souls. So Baba says, he said to us this week that if someone is wealthy, they have the awareness that God gave them wealth because in their previous birth, they performed some karma and Baba multiplied it if they did it like in God's name. So, for example, Muslims are meant to give something like 25% of their income in charity per year. They've got certain rules, certain codes, and different faiths have that. Some might be more set out, some might be more individual choice. But you've got this interaction between God and the karma that souls are performing, which then creates the next life. So destiny is shaped by karma in the copper and iron ages. But God is also in the middle of that. He is multiplying, he is supporting, he's also guiding souls so that some sorrow is alleviated. And you get this dynamic. So Baba says someone opens a hospital, they get good health in their next life. Someone opens a school, they get a good education in their next life. Someone opens some accommodation, they get born into a wealthy home. And if someone performs lots and lots of charity, then they can be born in a royal family. And when we did the session on Queen Elizabeth after she passed away, I was observing how it seems like that soul did all of it in their last life, because pretty good health, long lifespan, obviously would have had a good education, born into a palace, and also for 70 years to be ruling and 95 years in a royal family. So it suggests the soul performed that charity over a lifetime in the previous life, not just over a few years. So destiny in the copper and iron ages is shaped by the previous life. This is why there's a sequence to our costumes. We can't skip a birth, you can't alter. So in a sense, you can't like time travel or things because it's sequential. and your previous life shapes your next life. So destiny, Kismet, is being shaped, but what you can't alter is the destiny of coming down the staircase. So Baba ties in the story of the Brahmins, Brahma and the Brahmins, with the story of India. And he says that all of you are all-round actors. India is an all-round actor. It's there in all the ages. And you souls are there from the beginning. You are the original residents of India. The other day he gave us a yoga practice that it visualized when the deities incarnate. What will that be like? So that's you. And you're going to be all incarnating somewhere around Delhi, not too far, somewhere around that area. So that land and you're there from the beginning. Now, what you have is you have this journey down the staircase. And he explains that as you come into the Iron Age, the other main religions, they are being established. And you are coming into your Iron Age, and they are in their Golden Age. So the history of India tells us Buddhists first ruled, then Muslims ruled, then Christians ruled. So part of the destiny of the drama is that the deity souls must lose their crowns. So Ravan takes your crown of light, your crown of purity at the end of the Silver Age. And then we all squabble with each other, really, so we're losing our crowns. We become tribal and limited in the Copper Age in our thinking. And then in the Iron Age, the other religions as well, they begin to rule over us. And you see that they are very powerful because souls are coming from the soul world with their own power, and our power is depleted. So it's in the destiny of the drama that India must become the slave, must become the servant of these other three great faiths in the Iron Age. And you, souls as well, you then become subjects. And you become, you're taxpayers, aren't you? Your citizenship is based on someone else ruling a kingdom. You're living in someone else's kingdom. So Baba is saying to us that that's the destiny. It doesn't matter what karma you perform. You can perform as much charity as you like. You can't stop that destiny. But why? Because it's in the destiny of the drama that Shiv Baba has to uplift you. So you cannot meet Shiv Baba when you're empowered. You can only meet Shiv Baba when you're disempowered. So Baba says in the Murli that he comes to, like, especially the students he had in the 1960s, they were very poor, uneducated. So there's some Murlis where Baba has a big grin on his face and he says, look, I'm the highest on high teacher and all I get is hunchbacks, uneducated, people with no teeth, people at this, and he goes like that, people who can't walk properly. Look at the students. People in the world get such elite students, and look at the students Baba gets. But actually, these are the elite souls of the Golden Age. But they have to be on their bottom step of the staircase. It's the destiny of the drama. You can't access God until you reach the end of the staircase. This morning, Baba was explaining it's the destiny of the drama that this Bhagirath, this fortunate chariot, this soul of Sri Krishna, must reach the last of his many births. And it's only at the end of the last of his births that Shiv Baba can be invoked, can be incarnated into his body. So that's all destiny in the drama. We can't change. Doesn't matter what karma you perform. You can't stop that. And so at Confluence Age, how do we wrestle with all of these concepts? Well, first of all, Baba says that there's a phrase, there's an image in the Quran that Allah comes with heaven as a gift on the palm of his hand. So he has come. Shri Baba says, I've come. First of all, just by recognizing me, you will go to heaven. So I come as a gift. You don't have to make any effort. You are coming to heaven. That's now in the destiny of the drama. But then he says that the way that the drama works is there must always be inequality. If you want to experience equality, then you have to now practice being a bodiless soul and visualize yourself in the soul world with Shiv Baba. And there, you and Baba, that's it, solitude, practice solitude. Then there's no comparison with anyone, there's no inequality. But you will see right throughout history, the way we organize ourselves down here, there's always hierarchy. There have been some experiments throughout history for people to try and have equality. Probably the biggest level was communism. And when I was 11 years old and I started high school, the very first novel that we had to study in English literature class was 1984 by George Orwell. And that is like an allegory of communist Russia. And it's like visualized in a farm. And the pigs are the Communist Party of Russia. And so initially they start off with a slogan. He's a very clever author, and he says, all animals are equal. So they get rid of the farmer, who's symbolizing the monarch. And then the animals rule themselves. All animals are equal. But then after a while, the pigs are actually the most intelligent. So they're just telling everyone else what to do. And then they put a comma. But some are more equal than others. And so they move into the farmer's house, and the story ends when they're basically behaving just like the farmer was. So if you find this like with communists, like we're seeing in communists, there's not equality really, like it's an ideal, but it's still a hierarchy. So Baba explains to us that there's nothing he can do. There has to be a kingdom established with great variation and hierarchy, even in the golden age. It's the way in which things are organized. So he says, what I can do is give equality of opportunity. So at Confluence age, he gives the equality of opportunity by giving the same Murli to everyone. And he says, I'm going to just multiply everything, multi-million-fold, because we've got to do this quickly. You haven't got hundreds and hundreds of years. You've got to do it in a short time. So everything you do according to my instructions, I'll then multiply it. So he introduces a whole new dynamic of karma called sukarma, which means elevated karma. And he says, I am Shiva, I am the point, I am the decimal point. And I was listening to, I can't remember whether it was the last video meeting we had or not something else that Ranjan Ben had on. And Dada Bridgemohan was making a few comments. And there was something which I thought was really useful that he shared, where he said, if you think about it, once Baba multiplies something tenfold, then the next multiplication is 100-fold. And then the next zero is 1,000, and then 100,000. So when you perform good karma at Confluence age, and then you perform more good karma, actually the multiplier, the zero, is even more powerful than the previous zero. Because you're actually adding your zeros, and the number means something a lot more than the previous zero did. So I thought that was a nice point, that how the momentum of karma at the Confluence age is that once you're accumulating and you get into it, Baba calls it the stage of ascent. So the stage of ascent means You start off following Baba and you begin to experience attainment. So it's tenfold accumulation, then 100-fold, and you're building your momentum. And you reach a point where everything begins to be accumulated multi-million-fold. And ideally, Baba would want us moving up in a straight line. And he says that this is why Mama and Baba were able to do it in just 30 years. They just had a straight line. They didn't go up and down. They just went forward, upwards. So it's possible. They showed us that you can do it. It's possible for a businessman to become the angel Adam in 35 years. So that's really something. But it shows what Shiv Baba can do with karma. He can just flip the whole dynamic of karma. And he says, for example, there was a question that some of the double foreign brothers and sisters asked Avyakt Bapdada in the 1970s and 80s. They said that, well, we came after Brahma Baba. We didn't get a chance to see Brahma Baba. And Baba said, well, he's going to give everyone a 25% bonus if you didn't see Brahma Baba. Because those that saw Brahma Baba had the advantage of his example and his company. So to make it fair, he will just give everyone else a bonus 25%. And so you start off at 25% if you came after Brahma Baba. Those that came before started off at 0. And then we've heard him in the last few years, actually. I can remember there was the Bhog message when it was the Devi Janki's 1-year anniversary. And Baba said that over these next 12 months, he's going to give everyone. So I think it would have been March 2021. And he said he's going to give everyone extra bonus blessings. And then as I was interpreting the Bhog messages yesterday evening for Thursday's Bhog messages, it was coming across really clearly that this month of January is very important. So they were offering Bhog in different places, but the message was the same. Make the most of this month. And Baba was saying, blessings are showering down in this month. You can really make a lot of progress. And it's only this year that I've understood one point clearly and begun to experience it, begun to feel it. That Baba is saying that he wants us to reach a point where we become post-effort yogis. So initially, we've got to battle, we've got to make effort, we've got to toil, and we've got to reach a point where we've got some power accumulated. So Maya can't knock us off our journey. And then we reach a point where we're feeling Baba's blessings just because Baba sees that this child has become victorious to a certain level. And so the soul begins to feel Baba's blessings like a wave that's just moving them forwards. So in these Bhog messages, the sisters were seeing like blessings falling from the sky, flowers falling from the sky, fruit readily available. So we're at a point of confluence age where Baba's not even waiting for us to perform the karma to create our own fortune. He's saying, here, have some free bonuses. Here, go, have some free stuff. So you see this sometimes when, like a shop has extra stock and they just add in, okay, have a bit extra. So Baba, of course, is the ocean. He's got lots of stock. And he is saying, right, here you go, have some extra things. So as we're moving forward, he's actually making it easier for us to accumulate. So by doing that, even if a soul has fewer years, it equalizes the opportunity for everyone. So some souls, they had longer to accumulate. Some souls had a shorter time to accumulate. But because the intensity of blessings is growing, And because Baba is now recruiting more souls into the angelic realm, so he says he takes the daddies around with him. So you get extra subconscious power from the souls who've become karmati. And so he's giving extra help. Then there's more and more Brahmins who've accumulated more yoga powers as a gathering as well. The vibrations are helping each other. At the start, it was just Mama and Baba really. And so there's an equality of opportunity rather than an equality of outcome. So Baba says that still the outcome will be number wise, but he is going to make sure there's an equality of opportunity for all souls. So just like in the copper and iron age, you're creating your next life according to the karma you perform. In this, he says, well, I multiply everything. So it's for 21 births, 1 birth now, and then 8 births in the golden age and 12 births in the silver age. So he said to us in the blessing today that you have to now accumulate so that you have the ocean of happiness. You have the happiness now. So you're reaching a point of being the carefree emperor now. So that's the inheritance now. So the inheritance now is all the powers, the supersensory happiness, the access to God. That's the knowledge. This is the inheritance of the first birth of 21. And then the 20 births are deity births. So that's, we don't get knowledge, we don't get yoga, we don't get power, we don't get that inheritance then. We get the reward, the outcome of the karma we perform now. So in that way, we've got karma. Kismet means the role of the soul. So it's in your kismet, like Baba was saying, you've got all these costumes, that's predestined. You're part of the deity religion. You can't switch. And someone who's part of the Christian religion, that's just their role, it's Kismet. They are connected with Christ and Jesus. Someone's Buddhist. So some souls like switch for like a few births, but then you have to all go back to your original religion, ultimately, that you belong to in the soul world. So in this way, that's Kismet, that you are those deity souls. Your destiny is something you are shaping now by utilizing karma taught to you by God. So you have this interaction between God's will, Kismet, karma, and destiny. And time.
So much. That was just awesome. Thank you. Very, very nicely put.
Yeah, thank you. I've been thinking about this for a while as well. So I think it's clear to me now, and a nice chance to just verbalize and summarize it. But I think this point about time, this is what's become clear in the last few weeks, that karma, God, the role of the soul, nature, it's all governed by time. Everything is according to the time. So like Baba put it in the Bhog messages as the season, like even the January, he said it's like a season. So you've got to be aware, and when there's a season for something, that's when you've got to get the harvest, right? So make the most of now. This is the season for something. Make the most of now. And that's the opportunity. So have an assessment. Okay, what do I need to do right now? And make the most of that. It's not that that season always lasts. No. So we've got to be aware of that. That time is the thing that creates change.
Om Shanti.
Don't you?
You know, Brother Shailan, as you're talking about that, I remember listening to Sister Gopi, and she said that Daddy used to be very sick. She was very ill. And there were some times that she would lie in bed and she couldn't get up. But then later on, not too long afterwards, she would be sitting up and she would be fine again. And and they would ask her, Daddy, how could you be lying in bed and so sick at one point, and then suddenly you're up and sitting up and all of that? And Daddy said to them, what you have to do is sit and wait. She said, wait. And it seems as if you're talking about time right now, brother. And it seems that you just have to be patient. You have to wait, and you're going to overcome that. Om Shanti.
Yeah, I think that's a nice point as well, that sometimes time is do it now, and sometimes time is wait and see. And so Dedi Janki used to say this, that sometimes when Brahma Baba was around, they would ask Baba, what's going to happen with this? And Baba would just say, wait and see. And I've heard Avyak Baba say that as well, just wait and see. So sometimes Baba's giving us patience, and sometimes Baba is pushing us along. So he's saying, now or never. Come on, let's get going. Why are you sitting around? Let's do it now. And sometimes it is that. So it's always a judgment. And of course, for Daddy, she was in that stage of constant yoga. So she would have been accumulating energy. And so giving herself those few extra moments would have energized her body. She used to share that every evening, she used to spend a few minutes sharing yoga vibrations head to toe of her body. So she used to say that the body is our most cooperative companion. So just like if you were working with someone, you would then sit down at the end of the day, thank them, sit them down, maybe give them a cup of tea. And so sit your body down, give it the nourishment of Baba's vibrations. Thank you very much. You got me through another day. You enabled me to listen to Baba, see Baba, remember Baba, do Baba's service, do many other actions. And so she used to use her mind a lot to keep her body going. And she reached over 100 years old. So something must have worked. You want to carry?
Yeah, and yes, also Baba teaches us good elevated karma because, we have performed, even after Amrit Vela, spend 5 minutes, whatever time you have, to appreciate the body and the elements. And also because we have used this sense organs, even subtle faculties of mind, intellect, and sanskars in giving sorrow or because of vices. And we were influenced by Ravan and Maya, so we have to reverse our actions by say sukarma. And this is like karma yoga, Baba says, whilst doing if you do elevated more karma, you're settling through your sense organs, through your mind. And this is why, we have to reverse our bad karma and settle. And that's why Baba says, have only the pure thoughts in your mind. Feel it with only the pure thoughts. Only then you'll be able to give good wishes to others, to yourself. And this is why you see Dadi and, they have to pay so much attention. They just never got slack with anything. They kept eye on themselves, on their actions. And so this is why, it's important even whilst doing karma yoga, wherever you are, to pay attention and you have the correct thoughts, because whatever we think is going to come into our actions. And then we might end up, rather than settling the account, we will end up having more and more burden on ourselves. That's why Baba says, don't look at others, don't gossip. A month ago, there was lots of Murlis about not to gossip, and otherwise you will have a lot of loss. You are increasing your accounts on the sinful accounts. So this is why also it's important to give, because, and then because of our vibrations, animals are being impacted, and we can see the state of the world with climate change, and climate is because of our actions, that this condition of weather and whatever, because, we thought, oh, these inventions, scientists make things for our comfort and invent things, but look what is happening with disposable and all. We were so happy to have plastic and disposable, and now look at the result. So many animals and so much has gone wrong. They have suffered, and all that burden is on us, because human beings are the most intelligent. And so this one life of human, even in bhakti, they're seeing that it's a very elevated life. Baba keeps on reminding us of Confluence. And this is why they say that you have such an elevated intellect, use it in the right way and do good. So that's why it's important to give, the whole body, animals. Because of our actions, everything has become, changed from being normal. Like Baba says, in the golden age, everything will be so proper, perfect. But this is why Baba asks us to make such efforts that we can do that. And Baba will help us. Baba says one step, or he wants our one step of courage, and then he will help us a lot. That's the law.
Would anyone like to come in and make any comments or ask anything else or say anything else? Everyone's content. So shall we hear a bit of the Murli and then take some further comments and reflections? I've been thinking a lot about this topic of the siddhis, the spiritual capabilities. Like we were hearing from Baba in the Golden Age, you're able to give birth to children through the power of thought. You're able to sustain the body so it never degenerates, never fall ill. You're able to avoid the experience of death. You're able to control the elements. You're masters of the world. So you have so many siddhis, and you're developing those siddhis now. From the Copper Age onwards, no one is able to have all the siddhis, but you find some devotees, they have a spiritual practice which might give them one siddhi or another siddhi. So like Baba talks about people who become monarchs, that they have performed that charity in their previous life. And so that gives them that siddhi. So if you think right across the world, people often see monarchs as gods or as representatives of a god. And that's because their charity has given them that power. And there's one Murli where Baba comments that as the Iron Age has gone on, like for example in India, you could be born into a royal family in India, but they don't actually have any kingdom. So, the power of that charity has diminished, hasn't it? Even with Queen Elizabeth, she was a monarch and she had such, people respected her so much, but she didn't have any political power. And maybe that's why she was liked so much. But in monarchs of the past had the power over life and death, right? So all of that power comes from, it's a siddhi gained by the power of their past karma. So in their next life, if they've opened a hospital or done some other sort of medical health type of charity, they gain that healthy body or healthy education. These are all siddhis. Then you get some devotees, they're like telepathic. They can predict the future. They can show some sort of miracle of some sort of magic. They can be mediums for people who've passed on. You find many types of spiritualism. And some are magicians as well. They can do amazing things, not just like tricksters, but they actually have a spiritual magic that they can perform. So a lot of bhakti is souls showing us different siddhis, and then everyone runs as if they're a god, so a lot of bhakti is based on this sort of thing. So Baba says your standards became so low, anyone shows a bit of magic, you just run to them and you think they're a god. But no one has transformed the world like Shri Baba's doing. No one has given you knowledge like how Shri Baba's doing. So Raj Yoga is once again restoring all of the siddhis back into you, soul. So you're going to have the spiritual capability to rule the globe once again. You're going to have the authority over all of the elements once again. A lot of magic is that, isn't it? Witchcraft and wizardry. They control fire, they control water, like this type of thing. So Baba says that's what you do in the golden age. They serve you. So this Raj Yoga is the accumulation of all of these siddhis for the future. But at the confluence age, of course, we can't have all of those siddhis, but we've got other ones. For example, Baba said, remember the ocean of happiness and remain constantly happy no matter what. That's a siddhi. Control the sense organs, conquer Maya, conquer the vices. These are all siddhis. And then he's been saying to us, serve through your mind. You should reach a point in your yoga power where you can sit in one place and you can reach other souls wherever they are in the world. And they feel as if some spiritual being has visited them. Many people have those types of experiences. They sometimes have it when they're conscious, sometimes when they're asleep, and they have this experience that someone is giving them a message. Someone is giving them some sort of inspiration or vibration. And Baba says, this is the Brahman soul. You've got to increase your yoga power. At the start of the yagya, Bapdada spread that vibration, and many daddies had the experience of Brahma Baba and Sri Krishna coming in their dreams. Daddy Prakashwini said she dreamt of Sri Krishna and then Brahma, and Sri Krishna was saying, go and meet this Brahman, go and meet this person. So literally it was like a very clear message into their minds. So Baba is saying to us that up until now, you've moved into words and actions a lot. But this service of the mind is what's really needed from now on. Because, of course, people only listen to words so much. And through actions, how much can you do? You'd like to do everything for everyone, but that's not possible. But the service of the mind is the unlimited service. And secondly, I was talking to you earlier in the week about experimenting with the seed of thought. And over these last number of years, I've had a lot of good experiences with this experimentation. It goes back right to when I was a young lad, and I was 18 years old, I think. I just started university. And I thought I should earn some money just to keep going with some expenses and things. And I thought I could tutor younger children. And one sister said to me to write a letter to Baba and offer it on a bhog tray. So I did that, and I said, Baba, I need you to be my business partner. I think I'd like to earn £100 per week. That would be something like that would be good. I'll need your help to recruit and your help to do things. It was amazing. In 4 days, I had 13 students. I didn't even advertise anything. So I just mentioned it through word of mouth. Suddenly I had all these students. And that kept me going as I was studying. And so from there, it gave me faith that you could do it, even for worldly things. So not just for Baba's sake, but even for worldly things. I could create a thought, and then in that thought, you feel Baba's power, and you form that combined form with Baba. So my experience over the years has been, you firstly have to check your motives. The motives can't be impure. So you create a thought, and you make sure your motives are clean. My experience has been, it's okay for mutually beneficial motives. It doesn't just have to be for others. You could benefit as well through that. That's okay, but it can't be something detrimental. Yoga is benevolent and Shiva is benevolent. So if you have a detrimental motive and you try and use yoga power, it reverses it and gives positive outcomes to the people you mean bad for. So your motive will never bear fruit if you try and use yoga power. So if you've got a detrimental motive, Baba transforms and gives that soul a bigger bonus. So the person you didn't want to succeed succeeds even more, because yoga power can only be beneficial. So you've got to check your motive. Then your feeling. Feelings have to become very pure. We had a Murli on that a few Sundays ago, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. Check your motives, check your feelings. They're very important for service through the mind. Then you have to use your concentration. So this month, the points we've been getting are about solitude and concentration. So in order to activate a siddhi, we have to discipline our mind. And this is the challenge. You have to give yourself time to sit and practice concentration on Baba. So you have the thought, you check your motives, check your feelings, and you feel your good feelings in that thought. Then it's like you're handing that thought over to Baba, and you're saying that I'm now detaching from the outcome. So you need detachment from the outcome, because you can't control the drama. So, you've got to trust drama as well within that. So there's like faith in the drama, which creates the detachment from the outcome. I trust drama as well. It may be that drama says no to this, but often drama says not yet. Not yet. So it's sometimes it might happen. Some seeds, they bear fruit instantly, like the example I just gave you. Some seeds, they bear fruit according to their season. So you have to wait for the season in the drama, then it will bear fruit. So it will work, but you've got to look after that seed over years. Like I think it's mango seeds that I think they take years, like 4 years or something. Like there's certain fruits, so you got to look after them a lot over years, but then you get a very precious fruit. Others, you can sort of put the seed in, like if you want to grow herbs, you can do that quite quickly. They can be with you in about 14 days, something is grown. So these thoughts are like that too. So pure motives, clean motives, pure feelings, detachment from the outcome, faith in the drama. Then you hand over that seed to Baba, And then you just practice concentration. So you're not thinking too much about that thought anymore, but you are filling that thought with yoga power. And you might have to do that daily for years, maybe. But definitely give it a go and see for yourself how that works. And my experience has been good with personal life, career, personal self-transformation, personal progress, with service as well. So for example, these chit chats, these daily classes and things, they're a real gift for Ranjan Ben and I. And it was about 5-6 years ago, I'd had the thought, I said to Baba, I think Ranjan Ben and I are being wasted. We have many treasures that souls can benefit from. But actually we need to find a way for others to benefit. Here, a few souls come in the class in the morning. And so then I was at Oxford University for much of that year, 2016-17. And I was joining the inner space there on a Thursday. And one sister asked, well, could you just record the days you're not in Oxford, just record some things, some thoughts on the Murli, and send it to me. So that's how it all started. And then I put it up as a blog, and some of the other Brahmins picked it up. And then, of course, during COVID, it then just spread because everyone went online. And then I was also thinking that any of us could leave the body. I could leave the body anytime. It's good to have an archive. So the YouTube channel is like a good archive. So after me as well, there's materials for Brahmins to come in the future, and they can also take those. So that all was 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I created this thought. And I said to Baba, I complained really, I moan usually to Baba. So I'm always complaining really. I'm one of those discontented children. So I said to Baba, come on, look, let's get this going. And again, checking all of those things I just mentioned. And then over a number of years, just filling that thought with yoga. And then when the season came, it's just happened. So it's happened in a way I couldn't have envisaged, you see. So you've got to leave it to drama. So the thought was there. How it actually then bore fruit, how it manifested. Like we didn't know any of you, did we? Just even 2-3 years ago. So you couldn't have designed it. You can only have the seed. You can only plant the seed. You can't know how the plant will develop. So in this way, these are all siddhis. And we can have thoughts, for example, I want to clear all the obstacles from this center, from all of the other centers. Or there could be a service program at your local center, and you're going to sit especially with those thoughts for success for that program, because brothers and sisters are working very hard, making all that effort, spending money, doing all sorts. You want it to be successful. So these are all confluence age siddhis. So there's the golden age siddhis, and there's the confluence age siddhis. So these are different successes that we can see. So let's listen to the Murli and then hear your reflections after. So I'll hand over to her.
Yeah, because the Murli is also, Baba will clarify, Baba is mentioning all of what we mostly. So I'll start. This is Avyak Bapdada, 19th March, 1988. 1903, 1988. Today, Bapdada, the bestower of the law, the bestower of blessings, is seeing his children, who are the master bestower of the law and the master bestowers of blessings. Each child has become a bestower of the law and also a bestower of blessings. So Baba said, each one of us. And so today, Bap Dada was seeing how great the status of the children is and how great the importance of the Brahmin life of the Confluence age is. So children's status and the importance of Brahmin life of the Confluence age, together with the Father, who is the bestower of the law and the bestower of blessings. You Brahmins are also the bestowers of the law, the ones who show the correct systems. You have heard already how every system of yours becomes transformed for the golden age. And so the present systems for every action continue into the future. But these systems also become the systems of the path of bhakti. And so the elevated karma of this moment is also the foundation of the path of bhakti. So the elevated methods of your life now are remembered in the worship-worthy form, for they also continue on the path of devotion, on the path of being worshippers, that is, on the path of bhakti. Every single custom and system continues as a custom and system later on. You are the bestowers of the law and the bestowers of blessings, and the ones who also bestow the correct methods. So in just this small paragraph, Baba has pointed out a lot of things. That don't be complacent, don't be careless, saying, oh, it's the daddies, it's the seniors, or drama. You know, today's drama point, when I read that, I said, this point, you can take it in two ways. Either you take it in a right way and wanting to make such efforts, then in the drama, you for every kalpa, you stamp your status, like Baba said, or you say, oh, whatever is in the drama and become careless and don't make much efforts. The loss is there. Then you are making your status in that way. But you are definitely going to have it, because now Baba has said, and that, it's up to us whether to achieve a higher status or everybody will have everything, but you see, it is on us, because somebody asked Baba about why, to help, and Baba says, no, you have to make efforts. It's the law. If you keep, I can't do much. I can't change your destiny or your drama. But if you keep, if you take one step of courage and wanting to make a transformation in yourself, wanting a higher status, then Baba can help. Baba is also bound by these laws and by drama, whatever. Baba cannot do that. That's why when I came, we were talking about this equality, and so Baba is giving us an equal responsibility of all this, because each one, Baba said, will be a lawmaker and bestower of blessings now. So it is the confluence age. Now is the time we are planting all that seeds. And so for every kalpa, it will bear that accordingly, the fruit accordingly. accordingly. So this is the season. And so you heard that we are making our even bhakti, a whole cycle, Baba said. It depends on this, how we do it now, how we take responsibility, how we take listen to Baba and make our life accordingly, plan our future life. And now further up, Baba mentions about golden age, Baba says, your main principles become the method for attaining all results. For instance, your main principle is that there is the one Father. There are many righteous souls. There are great souls, but there is only the one supreme soul. This main principle of yours enables you to attain the inheritance from the Father for half a kalpa. So once we become Baba's children, we are born into Brahmin family, become mouth-born creation of Brahma, mother and father, Shiv Baba. We have a right, birthright, to claim inheritance, no matter what, who we are. And this is why Baba says, and then Baba gives us the result as well. So you elevated souls become the ones who attain results through this. To attain results means to be the embodiment of results. You understand that there is one Father and that the great souls or the righteous souls are not fathers, but they are, did you get it? What Baba is pointing out? They are your brothers. Baba often says in Sakar Mulis, brothers are not going to give you inheritance, only the Father. And that is Shiv Baba, our grandfather, who gives us to our Brahma Baba, our father. The inheritance comes from the one Father, not from a brother. From this main principle, you attain results for yourself. So now Baba is pointing out that it is up to us. So Baba says the inheritance comes from the one Father, not from a brother. From this main principle, you attain results for yourselves for half a kalpa. And then this also becomes the basis of bhakti, in which the results are attained with the awareness that God is one. So this is the result. The beginning of bhakti also has for its foundation the worship of the one Father in the form of a Shiva Lingam. You know the image Lingam? Shiva Baba's image. Baba says Baba is only a point, but in order to have a bhakti, people won't be able to worship the point. So they make a big lingam. And that is the bhakti, which is described as unadulterated, pure, uncorrupted bhakti. So in the beginning, we all will have this bhakti, which is described as unadulterated, pure, uncorrupted bhakti. So in bhakti also, it is through the understanding of this one principle of there being the one Father that results are attained. So Baba is pointing out that why daddies are some, even in the worship worthy form, how, we say some are pujaniya, there will be accurate bhakti and longer bhakti, and sometimes they will just recite your what you call rosary. Sometimes whatever we do, if we do systematically, our bhagats will do accordingly. If somebody is careless and just does it just like that, their bhagats will do. Mama always said, whatever you do, if you don't get up at Amrit Vela, if you are not accurate, your bhagats will also do for the sake of it. They will just put some flowers or something on you, like you just got up and you just remember Baba, and then you didn't bother too much about, properly, accurately doing according to Baba's system, a bhog or whatever. Your bhagats will do the same to you. They will just offer something and just go. And this is what so Baba is pointing out here that you yourself are making your own picture and your own future life for the entire cycle. So Baba said how much impact and domino effect, would you say, is on now, whatever you do, on the entire life of yours. So in bhakti also, it is through the understanding of this one principle of there being the one Father that results are attained. So that's why Baba keeps on saying, just one Father, remember one Father only. Because we scattered our mind and intellect and our love in other things. And so Baba wants the whole heart, our heart into Baba. Baba doesn't want a fragmented heart, because we divided our heart for lots of relatives, friends. Baba wants only one for now, and then we can attain such a status. We can come in the beginning, from the beginning of the golden age, and into royal status, royal family. In this way, each one of your main principles becomes that which enables souls to attain results and success. So that much importance and the responsibility we have, that in this way, each one of your main principles, the principles that Baba spoke about, becomes that which enables souls to attain results and success. For instance, the main principle of this life is purity. It is through the principle of purity that you souls obtain the crown of light and become the embodiment of results for the future. The memorial of this has been shown as the double crown. In bhakti, whenever they want to do accurate bhakti, that is, when they do bhakti out of their hearts, they recognize that purity is the main principle. They understand that there cannot be results attained in bhakti without purity being observed. Although it is temporary, the bhakti, they observe it, even if only for that time that they are engaged in bhakti. They follow it only for that space of time. Yet they definitely understand and accept the principle of purity being the method for attaining results. In this way, let the intellect think of every aspect of the principles of Gyan and of the main principles of Dharana. So for us, this is, some Sakar Murli Baba has said, when they are about to go on a pilgrimages to fulfill whatever their desires, or whatever their problem want to be solved by God and by going. they pledge that if God, you fulfill this desire, solve this problem, I will remain pure. And so they go on in pilgrimage. Once it's fulfilled, Baba says they go back to their own, then they don't pay that much attention to purity. But for that time period, for a month or couple of months they would do that. They would follow all whatever they vowed, they promised God. That's what Baba means there. And now this is for us. That, this is why Baba said they follow whatever they promise, only for that space of time. Yet they definitely understand and accept the principle of purity being the method for attaining the results, whatever they wanted. In this way, let the intellect, now it's for us, Baba says, in this way, let the intellect think of every aspect of the principles of Gyan and of the main principles of Dharana. See, mostly this complaint about Dharana, that I can't imbibe this, can't the Dharana. So Baba is pointing out, you can see how each and every principle becomes the method for results. This is the task for churning. This is the task for churning that is being given. You have heard of some examples. Think of it in this particular way. So what Baba is saying, Baba gives us, but it's up to us to follow it accurately and imbibe and become the embodiment also. You are the ones who then become the bestowers of the correct systems and the bestowers of the results. So that is another responsibility, and checking and keeping an eye on the self. You are the ones who then become the bestowers of the correct systems and the bestowers of the results. Even today, whatever results the Bhagats desire, they will go and worship those particular deities from whom they believe they are going to attain those particular results. Together with Baba being the bestower of results, you children also become the same. Do you know this? Baba asked us, do you know this? Because, sometimes you say, oh, it's God, it's his task, he'll do it. And, when we are, even in the Lokic world, when there are many older brothers and sisters or, younger ones always say, oh, it's their responsibility. And, oh, of course they are there, and you get very comfortable. But Baba says, no, each one has to create their own fortune and make their own efforts and follow Baba's instructions, Baba's teachings. So Baba is saying, and Baba asked that question, do you know this? Do you recognize yourself in this way? If you, the soul, have attained all results yourself, then you can become the instrument responsible to enable other souls to attain results and siddhi. Means, it says in the brackets, success. Because success, siddhi, has lots of meaning according to the context of the Murli. The siddhi, it is spelled S-I-D-D-H-I, siddhi, means success. The siddhi, the result, is not bad because of your results have nothing to do with occult power. So Baba says siddhi because in bhakti they would use this word riddhi, siddhi, means method and success. So, but occult powers, that is occult powers. And there one has to be very, very careful. But here, our siddhi, it is not occult power. This is what Baba is underlining, pointing out. The siddhi, the result, is not bad because your results have nothing to do with occult power. In bracket, it says riddhi, R-I-D-H, D-D-H-I, riddhi and siddhi. Whenever there are occult powers, there is influence for a temporary period of time. However, your attainment of results is by using the accurate method. And so that is riddhi, R-I-D-D-H-I. Accurate method is riddhi. That is the methods through which you receive results are the godly methods. And so the results that are attained are godly results. So Baba has asked us to understand that these are godly methods, methods and results. Just as God is eternal, the godly methods are the same, and the results are also eternal. The souls that reveal occult power are souls who are ignorant themselves, and so their results are temporary. Your results come through the understanding of the principles and the right method. You yourselves become the embodiment of results for half a kalpa, and for the other half, through your principles, the Bhagat souls are able to attain results. That is, when they use them according to their power and capacity, they receive the fruits of attainment. The power of bhakti also decreases according to time. So Baba is talking about the entire cycle, the impact will have on everyone. The experience of Satopradhan Bhakti was so much more than the experience that Bhagats have nowadays. So Baba said even the power of the Bhakti decreases as the time. Now is the Kali Yuga, the time. And so according to the time, the experience of Satopradhan in the beginning of the corporate, it will be Satopradhan Bhakti. And now Baba mentioned that it was unadulterated, uncorrupted, and now even the Bhakti has become corrupted. And this is why the experience of Satopradhan Bhakti was so much more than the experience that Bhagats have nowadays. Now, because Bhakti is Tamo Pradhan, the principles are not accurate, and so results are not obtained. So, do you have so much intoxication? So, Baba is pointing out about our importance. Remember in the beginning of the Murli, Baba said about the importance of Brahmin life, and Baba said you should have so much intoxication. So, do you have so much intoxication? Do you know who you are? Are you always able to set yourself on the seat of elevated consciousness of self-respect? Because this is the most elevated seat of all. So our seat is here, And Baba's titles, Baba gives us so many titles. This morning, Murli was full of titles. If you set yourself on the seat of this consciousness, then you will not get upset again and again. This is your position, is it not? How great your position is, the bestowers of, Baba reminded us our titles, our seat. How great your position is, the bestowers of, do you remember? The law, the bestowers of results. Baba said bestowers of law and bestowers of blessings, and that is the results. The more you stabilize yourself in this position, the less Maya will be able to cause. Baba is rhyming it. The more you stabilize yourself in this position, the less Maya will be able to cause opposition. So if you are seated stable, then Maya cannot oppose you, cannot, what you call, get you, what you call, when you're sitting on your throne and somebody,
You said.
you know, because if you are not seated properly, somebody can get you out, you know, like in the politics, it happens for a few months, a few weeks. They have a, like it happened recently, we had for 6 weeks, we had a lady prime minister, and then after 6 weeks, she was asked to resign, and they put another prime minister. So Maya also does us if we are not seated. That's what Baba means. So we are not in the power, you know, self-sovereign. So Baba says that Maya will be able to, if you are seated, you will constantly remain safe. Another advantage, you will remain constantly safe. The reason that you become upset is that you move from the seat of an elevated consciousness and come into a state of ordinary consciousness, and then to stay in remembrance or even to do service becomes an ordinary routine in your timetable. So Baba doesn't like us to be ordinary or not to have elevated consciousness. And so Baba pointed out here that and then we won't be able to stay in remembrance or even to do service becomes an ordinary routine in your timetable. But when you sit in remembrance, you should sit yourself on the seat of elevated self-respect. Don't just get out of bed and sit down. Means from the beginning of the day, Amrit Vela, you know, sometimes you have some late and then you just sit down for the sake of it or with a guilt. And that's why Baba says, don't just get out of bed and sit down. Don't just sit down in remembrance as at any other time during the day. Whether in the yoga room or whether it is in Baba's room, just as you give the body a proper place to sit, in the same way, first give the intellect a proper place. Means our intellect's place is here with the soul. First, check whether the place of the intellect is accurate. And then by sitting on that seat, godly intoxication will automatically come. What do they say nowadays? They speak of the intoxication of chair, of the position. You mean Baba is talking about outside, you know, when they have a position, even in business, politics, whatever, you know, chairperson, what you call professors or whatever position they have, even they, Baba says, they speak of the intoxication of the chair, of the position. Your elevated consciousness is your elevated throne. At times, set yourself on the seat of the place of the consciousness of a master seed. So Baba is giving us self-respect of master seed, lawmaker, bestower of blessings. At times, set yourself on the seat of a subtle angel. At times, set yourself on the seat of the consciousness of a world benefactor. In this way, set yourself every day on the seat of the throne of various stages of consciousness. If someone is not on his seat properly, what happens? There is upheaval. He will move in one direction and then he will move in another direction. Upheaval in the intellect also takes place when it is not set on its seat. So throughout the day, according to time, like in the morning, where Baba's children were playing, and then, like Baba says, when you're bathing, remember, decorate your temple and yourself, and timetable that Baba has given. In the evening, we are ancestor souls, remember, sitting under the tree, Baba says, sit on the globe. And so accordingly, have the title, awareness of your self-respect, sit. That's what Baba means. Don't just sit, but sit, give your body as a, and all the four places in Madhuban, now Baba's 18th, you go around for Baba's room, Tower of Peace, pilgrimage places. Yeah. And so have your consciousness accordingly. You understand that you are all this. If you were to be asked now, who are you? Baba is testing us in a way. And so test your intellect. Do you remember when I am reading and asking, but to yourself, you give your answer. You understand that you are all this. If you were to be asked now, who are you? There would be a very good list that would emerge. But Baba says, you should understand this at all times and also consider and accept it for yourself. Not just know it, but to accept it. Because although by your understanding it, there is the subtle happiness remaining of, yes, this is what I am. By accepting it, power comes. So with affirmation and by experience, accept it, that this Baba has given this, and I really am. Every kalpa I did this, I am this with Baba. So Baba says, but some start to have doubts and can't accept. And Baba says, if you accept this, by accepting it, power comes. Then you experience the power. By your accepting it and living it in a practical way, putting it in a life, intoxication comes. Just as when someone has a position and he is set on that seat, he has the power of that position. Then when he moves from that seat to an ordinary place, there is happiness. but he will not have that power. He will not have that authority. You understand this, but you must accept it and live it. So we say living values, put it into your practical life. And Baba is asking us to do the same. Accept from Baba, live it, and you will experience the power and authority. Ask yourself this again and again. Check this. Am I sat on my seat, or have I come down into an ordinary consciousness? What have you understood? Who are you? The ones who give others the results are definitely the ones who become the embodiment of results in every thought and every action. They will be the bestowers. The bestowers of results will never have the thought, I am making so much effort, or these sentences are in inverted commas. And it's okay, it's okay. Huh?
How much more is left?
Just one page.
Okay.
Just finish it.
Where are you?
Okay, yeah, just this.
So 2 pages.
Yeah, but we'll finish with blessing.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't now speak in between. But so Baba is saying, making so much effort, or I practice sitting in remembrance, but I don't experience results according to the extent of my practice. In fact, this indicates that the method of sitting on the seat is not accurate. Gyan is entertaining, and so entertaining experiences will automatically chase away laziness. Some say normally sleep wouldn't come, but when I sit in yoga, sleep definitely comes. Why does this happen? So Baba says it is not a question of tiredness, but is because the intellect hasn't been set on the seat of entertainment in a natural form. So you got Baba's meaning with this Murli, what to do now. So I'll just read a bit quickly. There's still one page. So use a variety of forms. Don't just practice one form. If the same thing is used in a variety of ways, by transforming it, the heart is happy. No matter how expensive something may be, if you keep eating that same thing again and again, or if you keep looking at the same thing again and again, what will happen? Be the seed, Baba says, form, be the seed form, but also sometimes experience the form of the lighthouse, sometimes the might house, sometimes be the seed on the top of the tree, sometimes stand on the top of the world cycle and give power to everyone. Experience the variety of titles that you have received in a different way each day. Sometimes I, the jewel of Baba's eyes, emerged in Baba's eyes. Experience this form. Sometimes experience the form of being the jewel in the forehead. Sometimes experience the form of being seated on the heart throne. Let there be variety, and there will be entertainment. Bap Dada gives you a variety of titles every day in the Murli. Why does he do this? So that you can set yourself on the seat. Just simply check this from time to time. You have heard before how it gets forgotten and how when 6 or 8 hours have gone by, you think about it and you become unhappy that half a day has finished already. Therefore, let it become a natural practice. Only then will you be the bestowers of the law, the bestowers of results, and you will be able to bring benefit to all the souls of the world. Do you understand? Today is the day for the Madhuban residents. It is good that the double foreigners have given you a chance out of their time. Seeing the Madhuban Nivasis, everyone is happy. The Madhuban Nivasis say, don't praise us. We have heard a great deal of praise. You say this, don't you? Hearing the praise, you become great, because that praise then becomes a shield. Just as on the battlefield, a shield is method for safety. So by reminding yourself of the consciousness of this praise, you remember your own greatness. Madhuban isn't just Madhuban, but Madhuban is the stage for the entire world. To live in Madhuban means to live on the stage of the entire world. When someone is on a stage, how great his attention has to be, So by considering that, Baba is showing another method. Always consider yourself in the world stage, and then you won't be careless. You'll have a lot of attention because we are performing when we are. If one were anywhere else, one could live in an ordinary way. There would be no need for such attention. But when someone comes on the stage at all times, in every karma, there has to be so much attention. Madhuban is the stage for the karma. There has to be so much attention. Madhuban is the stage for the world. The vision of the souls from all corners is on Madhuban. In any case, everyone's attention is always focused towards the stage. So the residents of Madhuban are the ones constantly stable on the stage of the world. Do the Madhuban residents have this awareness? What else is Madhuban? It is a stage, but Madhuban is also a unique dome. Baba said dome, unique dome. The slightest sound that is made in Madhuban reaches the entire world. Nowadays, sometimes if you go to old places, they have the memorial of this. For instance, if a sound is made at one place, at one wall, or if one wall is touched, then that sound reaches 10 other walls where it can be heard. So Baba means echo, Or if one wall is shaken, the same can be felt everywhere, and the sound can be heard elsewhere. So Madhuban is also a unique dome. The sound of Madhuban doesn't just reach Madhuban, but it spreads all around in all directions. Those living in Madhuban perhaps don't know how far it spreads, but the uniqueness is that it reaches elsewhere outside. Never think that whatever happens here is just here, means whatever happens in Madhuban stays in Madhuban. Baba says, never think that way. Or that whatever is seen here is only seen here, or is spoken only here. The sound reaches the world. It reaches it with the speed of the wind. In everyone's vision, in everyone's intellect, there is always Madhuban and Bap Dada of Madhuban. If Baba of Madhuban is in everyone's vision, Madhuban must also be there. If it is in Baba of Madhuban and Madhuban comes, it isn't just Baba in Madhuban, it is also the children. Everyone's vision is automatically drawn to all the residents of Madhuban. Ask any Brahmin, no matter how far they live, what is it they remember? They remember Madhuban and Baba of Madhuban. This is the greatness of the Madhuban residents. Do you understand? There is no need for further praise. Acha, now Baba is giving us love and remembrance and blessing to those of all the different corners who maintain zeal and enthusiasm for service, to those who constantly remain merged in the love of the one Father, to those who constantly experience elevated results through the elevated method of each action, to those who constantly experience themselves to be world benefactors and have the good wishes and the elevated feelings of bringing benefit to all through thoughts and words, to those who remain busy in service in this way constantly, to those who are like the Father, constantly tireless servers. To such children, Bap Dada's love, remembrance, and namaste. And we say namaste to Bap Dada. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Would anyone like to share their reflections?
Om Shanti.
Shanti.
This Murli is so full of titles and self-respect. Sometimes, if I think that if we were not blessed with a broad mind and had the courage to maintain that broad mind, how would we absorb all these titles and accept them and use them? So Baba gives us so many titles and self-respect. You know, in bhakti we learn even to say, do not give me that much power or that much praise, because I'm afraid that I might not be able to bear it and use it and even misuse it. And here Baba gives us so many titles and so much praise that you really need to sit and absorb it in the right way to be able to use it in the right way, I think.
That's true. And he's explaining that he gives a variety so that we don't get bored and that we can practice different things. But sometimes if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, like there can be so many points of effort, so many points of checking, then my advice is always just do one thing. Just do one thing. Pick a thing that you'd like to focus on and develop some expertise in that. So you might think that for this next 1 month, I'm going to practice being the soul separate from my body, and I am a peaceful soul. Then just do that. So there's a variety, because variety of children, we always need changes. However, if it's feeling overwhelming, then just do one thing. If you want to, if there's many things you need to change in yourself, you feel overwhelmed, pick one virtue. I'm going to work on patience this year. Do that. And actually, Lady Janki used to say that if you inculcate one virtue, many virtues come with that one virtue. So you end up developing many other things. Thanks for that.
It's like a jigsaw. Or if you have one piece of jigsaw proper, then whole thing you'll be able to do it quickly. So even, yeah.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Didi.
Would anyone else like to come in?
Om Shanti Bhai Nidhi.
I'm Shanti Jagitha.
I like the last one that you said, Shailen Bhai, because I was going to ask what is the best self-respective title to use when you're dealing with bodily things, bodily conditions. But I think the one you mentioned, I am a soul apart from this body and I'm just peace. I think that one is definitely one that immediately gave me the feeling that it's gonna work. so so that or do you have other suggestions for
Yeah. I mean, you can try different ones, but I like to think of myself as the battery. So this robot, this gadget is working. The battery, I have to plug in to the power source. And so I feel like I'm in the middle then. So it's like I'm connected with Baba and I'm connected with the body. And so this body needs that energy from Baba. I'm in the middle. I have to give it that energy.
yes.
And I need Baba's blessings as well, just to heal and preserve and protect the body.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Great to see you. Okay.
What I also use for myself is Baba often reminds us who we are, and by repeating that explanation to myself, who I am, that I am his child, and that he is my father. So what he has in capability, I, his child, should also have. Probably the percentage may differ, the quantity may differ, but the quality is the same. So if Baba says that I am like that, then it is the capability is there. So I need to make effort or do something to achieve it. If he says it is so, then should be so, and it should be possible. So that's how I try to explain to the intellect, to the mind, to open them up and make it more achievable, I think.
Yeah, good advice.
Baba also said that accept it, what Baba says. Don't let any doubt come. This is God himself sitting and telling me, accept, live the life, and then Baba will give, and only then the power will come. Did you notice Baba said that? Baba pointed out. Okay, some don't accept it, and this is why they don't feel the power. They don't experience it. So accept what Baba said.
I think I take away this point of principles, that you've got to get your principles right in order to get the success. So let's use the seeds of thoughts, connect with Baba the seed, but then have a look, because our accuracy in the way we practice things, follow things, the motives, the feelings, all of that has to be right for something to become successful. So let me look at that principle. He said, even for the devotees, it's the same. If they do it properly, they'll get the result. And if we're just casual, then we're not going to get the attainment. So this is a method that creates the success. It's not that, it's like a more childish mindset, isn't it? That no matter what I do, I should still get the success. But Baba's teaching us maturity. You're going to have to do this properly, then you will get the success. So let's work on that and get those principles right.
And Baba says that authority is the biggest power out of all authority. Baba said, sit on your, stay seated on your position. The other day we had a nice, Murli of 8th July 1974, and Baba pointed out children have a lot of queue questions and they stay in the queue. Baba doesn't like that because we are his children And today Baba pointed out, and if we practice this rather than saying, why this Baba, or ask like a Bhagat and ask Baba to do things. No, but this is why today's Murli is really good, because after that, it points out that become more, you have this responsibility, and just benefit yourself and others and follow Baba's Srimad, and do it. And make your life for the entire cycle.
And then just on a practical level, I've sent around a little poll because we're trying a new mic today. And just wanted some feedback as to whether it has improved the quality or not. And then we can adjust accordingly. So that will be very helpful. And thank you all very, very much for those of you who could be here today live. We really appreciate your time and input, and for making this a very good quality session as always. Thank you for your questions and for your comments and reflections. And then also warm regards and warm feeling for those of you that watch later on through YouTube. So thank you all for tuning in as well. Let's experiment with the power of thought this week. So I'll be interested to hear from you your experiments, and over time share with me your results. I'm always interested to see how the power of thought can be used. So have a great week, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Om Shanti. Bye-bye.
Om Shanti.
Shanti.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
And thank you for the
Om Shanti.
opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. Om Shanti.